if one little thing gets left out, your entire operation could potentially crumble.
Hello everybody and welcome to Surge. Today we're going to be talking about BigCommerce Enterprise and Shopify Plus and whether those platforms are really worth the cost. Now Joe, before a business even thinks about hopping on one of those platforms, how much should they be pulling in a year online?
Yeah, so if your e-commerce store is now starting to generate anywhere between $1 to $2 million in revenue annually, now is the time to start considering moving to either BigCommerce Enterprise or Shopify Plus. And then the cost of that is you're going to be looking at, for Shopify Plus, you'd be looking at around $2,000 a month. Or you can work out variable pricing based, and that's typically for high volume sites. And then with BigCommerce Enterprise, it will range based off of your revenue or again, your volume. So those are some of the costs that you might be looking at. However, as we know, there are tons of benefits when moving to BigCommerce Enterprise or Shopify Plus. But I guess before you make that decision to move, one thing to really take into consideration is if you're at that point where you're generating $1 to $2 million a year in revenue, are you scalable? Do you foresee your store continuously growing, or are you capped out? So that's also something very important to have in mind. A business should start considering moving to an enterprise level platform like Shopify Plus or BigCommerce Enterprise when they start generating $1 to $2 million annually in revenue. And when looking at the cost associated with those platforms is, Shopify Plus, you're looking at $2,000 a month or variable pricing based on high volume sites that you can negotiate. And then with BigCommerce Enterprise, it's going to vary because it's going to be based on what your annual revenue is or the amount of volume that you're selling. So with BigCommerce, you would have to contact BigCommerce to find out what the cost will be for your particular business on a monthly basis. However, it's really the real reason why you should be moving over. So is the cost worth it? Absolutely, right? You're generating $1 to $2 million a year. How long did it take you to get there? And are you stuck at $1 to $2 million a year? Because that's something that a lot of e-commerce store owners have issues with, that their technology isn't built for scalability. The current platform that they're on isn't allowing their business to scale. So if that's the case, you definitely need to move over to BigCommerce Enterprise or Shopify Plus.
Now, Joe, what can these enterprise level platforms do that your standard version of BigCommerce or Shopify can't?
So just a few things. And one, it's very basic, but at the end of the day, for growing businesses, it's extremely important, and that's support. With these enterprise level platforms, you're going to get enterprise level support. So you're going to have on-call dedicated support, and that is extremely important, especially when you're trying to break that 1 to 2 million and you're trying to scale to 5 to 10. Issues with the site, if there's site goes down for whatever reason, if customers are having an issue at checkout and it's something and it's an issue on the processor end or the payment side, those are the things that you can't afford to have. Right? You can't afford to have those issues. So support is extremely important. So that's definitely one. So the second is now more access to the code of the platform itself. So for example, Shopify Plus now gives you the ability to edit or optimize your checkout page, where on the other versions of Shopify, you don't have that capability. So what this now allows you to do is it allows you to manipulate your checkout to possibly increase your conversion rate. So this is huge, especially when we're talking about scalability. This is now giving you the ability to implement different conversion optimization tactics on your site to help convert more of the traffic that you're already getting. And then the last thing that I want to mention is the unlimited API calls, right? If you're now getting to this point where you're a $1 to $2 million annual revenue, and you're trying to scale, meaning not just from a technology standpoint on the forward facing end, but also in the back end, right, of your operation. So that goes to inventory management systems. Do you have something like a SKU Vault or SKUBana in place to track your inventory, especially if you're selling across multiple marketplaces on Amazon, Walmart, Jet? You want to be able to synchronize all of that inventory data so that you don't oversell. Having the ability to have unlimited API calls, regardless of the volume at which you're selling, you'll always be able to maintain the proper inventory count on your site. And you won't get limited out on API calls. So that's extremely important as well. So I would say that those are some of the three benefits that these platforms have. But ultimately, what you're getting yourself into is not another expense, right? Paying additional for BigCommerce Enterprise or Shopify Plus is not an expense. You're actually investing back into your business because you're now investing into a platform that's going to allow you to continue to scale and grow.
So Joe, once I'm ready to move from BigCommerce or Shopify to the enterprise level platform, what does that process look like?
Yeah. So if you're on a standard BigCommerce plan, meaning non-enterprise level plan, and you want to upgrade now to enterprise, it's a pretty seamless process, and BigCommerce will help you move that forward. Same thing goes with Shopify. If you're currently on a Shopify plan and you want to move to Shopify Plus, Shopify can help you move your site over, upgrade. However, if you're on a Magento or if you're on Volusion and you're looking for an enterprise level solution, a hosted enterprise level solution, you're gonna need to speak to an expert when it comes to e-commerce migrations. And we know that there are tons of details that need to be looked at meticulously when it comes to e-commerce migration. And the reason being is that if one little thing gets left out, your entire operation could potentially crumble, right? So we can include a link here that talks about e-commerce migration, goes into it a little bit further in depth. But definitely if you're coming from a different platform and you're looking at BigCommerce Enterprise or Shopify Plus, we're more than happy to help. Reach out and we can give you an e-commerce migration checklist. So just to recap, BigCommerce Enterprise, Shopify Plus, definitely worth the investment if you're ready to scale your business to $1 to $2 million a year in annual revenue to 5 to 10. We'll talk to you guys next week.